Have you ever walked through your apartment at night and felt like something was off? Like someone else had been in your space, even though the door was locked? I used to think every strange noise or misplaced item had a normal explanation. Maybe I forgot to close a cabinet. Maybe the neighbors were loud. Maybe the building was old. But the older a building is, the more secrets it holds. And in the past year alone, I've heard 3 stories, all from regular tenants. That changed the way I look at apartment living forever. Because sometimes, your biggest fear shouldn't be who lives next door. It should be who used to. I moved into apartment 2B last November. It was small, quiet, and honestly, I felt lucky to find something affordable. The first week was normal. The second week, not so much. It started with my kitchen cabinet, the one above the sink. Every morning it would be open, just slightly the width of 2 fingers. I thought maybe I forgot to close it. So one night, I double-checked it, pushed it until it clicked, even tied a rubber band around the handles. Next morning, open again. I mentioned it casually to the landlord. He gave me this tight smile and said, "Oh yeah, humidity can do that." But here's the thing. The rubber band was snapped on the floor, like somebody pulled it apart. I tried setting up my phone one night to record the kitchen. Nothing happened for hours. Then around 3:40 a.m., the cabinet door slowly opened, but not in a smooth way. It jerked like someone tugged it at the corner, but no one was there. I showed the landlord the footage. His face went pale. He told me to come back tomorrow, said he needed to check something. The next day, he showed up with a maintenance guy. They removed the entire cabinet from the wall. Behind it was a small square hole, a crawl space, a really old one. The maintenance guy stuck his flashlight inside, sighed heavily and muttered. Again, I asked what he meant. The landlord cleared his throat and finally admitted it. A previous tenant, a man who lived alone, used that crawl space to enter a handful of apartments. He would come in at night, move things around, just to let people know someone had been there. He was arrested years ago, but apparently not before carving paths between the walls. The police sealed everything, but I guess they didn't check behind every cabinet. I moved out the next morning, and the landlord, he promised to take care of it. But sometimes I wonder, how long was someone inside my walls before I even knew? When I lived in apartment 4C, the woman in 4D was strange, not dangerous, not loud, just strange. She never slept. I know this because every time I walked to the hallway, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., her TV was always on. Always. Same channel. News reruns with the volume barely audible. One night, around 3:30 a.m., I was coming home from work. She was standing in her doorway, just staring. Not at me, but past me. Her eyes were open so wide they barely blinked. I said, "Are you okay?" She didn't respond, just slowly closed the door. The next day, I told the landlord. He gave me the same tight smile as story 1, like he knew something I didn't. Weeks went by. Her TV stayed on. Her lights stayed on. I never saw her leave. Never saw her sleep. Never saw her eat. Then one day, the hallway smelled strange. Not rotten, just stale, like someone had been inside for too long. I knocked. No answer. The landlord finally opened her door. What we saw still haunts me. The woman was sitting upright on her couch, eyes wide open, TV on the news channel. Same posture I'd always seen, but she wasn't breathing. The paramedic said she'd been dead for at least a week. A week. But her TV had been on every night. Her lights were on. Her air conditioner was running. And I swear, someone had been moving around inside. When the coroner moved her body, the landlord turned pale again, because behind her couch, there was a vent, one big enough for someone to crawl through, and inside it, dust disturbed in a trail, leading toward multiple apartments, including mine. To this day, they don't know who is living inside those vents, but I dread the idea that whoever or whatever was watching her at night might have been watching me too. I've moved apartments a lot, but the one that scared me the most wasn't the oldest. It wasn't isolated. It wasn't even that creepy. What scared me was the note. It happened on my 4th month living there. A thin piece of paper slid under my door at exactly 2:12 a.m. The handwriting was shaky, messy, like someone was in a hurry. It said, "If you're awake, don't make a sound." I froze. Then a second note slid under. "He's in the hallway." At first I thought it was a prank, until I heard the footsteps. Slow, heavy, dragging. Someone stopped right outside my door, just standing there, breathing. I texted my landlord. He responded instantly. "Lock your door. Do not move." I heard a soft knock on the unit across the hall. A woman whispered, "Please, just go away." The footsteps moved again. Then, silence. The next morning, police were in the building. My landlord told me what happened. A former tenant, a man evicted months before, had been sneaking into the hallways at night, through an emergency exit door with a broken lock. He wasn't violent, just unstable. He believed someone in the building owed him something. When police finally caught him, he kept repeating one thing: "I'm not leaving until I find the one who hears me." I asked the landlord who slipped the notes under my door. He shook his head. "No one on your floor was awake," he said. "No one admitted to writing anything." To this day, I've never learned who warned me, but I moved out a week later, and before I left, one last note appeared under my door. "You listened. You're safe. Leave now." Apartments are supposed to be places of comfort. A locked door, a quiet room, a feeling of safety. But the truth is, you never really know who shares the building with you, or the walls, or the vents. Sometimes it's not the landlord you should worry about. It's the person who lived there before you, or the person who never left. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share this video with someone who lives alone. And remember, if you ever hear something in your apartment late at night, don't assume it's nothing, because sometimes it's someone.